Welcome to Psych with Sigmund, the podcast where we delve into the fascinating world of psychology and explore the concepts that shape our understanding of human thought, emotion, and behavior. Today, we're going to talk about cognitive restructuring, a powerful psychological technique that can help you transform your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Cognitive restructuring is a process of identifying and challenging negative thought patterns and replacing them with more balanced and constructive ones. This concept is rooted in cognitive behavioral theory, which suggests that our thoughts, feelings, and actions are interconnected and influence one another. By becoming aware of our thoughts and learning to reframe them in a more positive and realistic way, we can improve our mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. The concept of cognitive restructuring emerged in the 1950s and 1960s, with psychologists like Albert Ellis and Aaron Beck developing cognitive behavioral therapies that emphasize the role of cognition in shaping behavior. Since then, research has continued to refine our understanding of cognitive restructuring, with studies demonstrating its effectiveness in treating anxiety disorders, depression, and other mental health conditions. One of the key theories underlying cognitive restructuring is the idea of cognitive distortion. These are biased or irrational ways of thinking that can contribute to negative emotions and behaviors. For example, all or nothing thinking, overgeneralization, and catastrophizing are all common cognitive distortions that can lead to problems like anxiety and depression. By learning to identify and challenge these distortions, individuals can develop more balanced and realistic thought patterns. Research has shown that cognitive restructuring can be an effective technique for managing stress, improving relationships, and enhancing overall mental health. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Consulting and Clinical Psychology found that cognitive behavioral therapy, which includes cognitive restructuring as a core component, was highly effective in reducing symptoms of anxiety and depression in individuals with post-traumatic stress disorder. So how can you apply cognitive restructuring in your everyday life? Let's consider an example. Imagine you're facing a difficult situation at work, and you find yourself thinking, "I'll never be able to handle this. I'm a complete failure." This thought pattern is an example of all or nothing thinking, which can lead to feelings of anxiety and hopelessness. By using cognitive restructuring, you could challenge this thought by asking yourself questions like, "Is it really true that I'll never be able to handle this situation?" Or, "What evidence do I have for thinking that I'm a complete failure?" By reframing your thoughts in a more balanced and realistic way, you might come up with a more constructive thought pattern, such as, "This is a challenging situation, but I've handled difficult tasks before, and I can learn to manage this one too." Therapeutic approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy often use cognitive restructuring as a core technique. Therapists work with clients to identify and challenge negative thought patterns, replacing them with more balanced and constructive ones. This process can be incredibly empowering, helping individuals develop greater self-awareness, self-acceptance, and emotional regulation. In addition to its therapeutic applications, cognitive restructuring has implications for our everyday lives. By becoming more aware of our thought patterns and learning to challenge negative ones, we can improve our relationships, increase our productivity, and enhance our overall well-being. For example, if you're prone to rumination, dwelling on negative thoughts or experiences, you might learn to reframe your thoughts in a more positive and constructive way, reducing your stress and anxiety level. As we conclude our exploration of cognitive restructuring, it's essential to acknowledge that this concept is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Different people may require different approaches, and what works for one individual may not work for another. Furthermore, while cognitive restructuring can be a powerful tool, it should not be seen as a replacement for other therapeutic techniques or medical interventions when necessary. In summary, cognitive restructuring is a vital concept in psychology that offers us a way to transform our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. By understanding how our cognition influences our experiences, we can learn to restructure our thinking patterns to develop greater resilience, well-being, and fulfillment. As the ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Cognitive restructuring gives us the tools to react in a more thoughtful, compassionate, and constructive way. That's all for today's Psych with Sigmund. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, may your ego find balance between pleasure and reality.